Hello, my name is James Ru. Today I will share about the Htek UCV50 and cordless smart video phone here. And here is a GUI or GUI. I access the GUI already. We will share about the management. This is a kind of the main menu from the GUI, and under the management, there is a password upgrade and the configuration, trusted CA, server CA, tools, and report. So if you see the password set, you can see there are kind of the rules or type, kind of two kind of the users. One is for the common user, another one is for admin. So you can set the different users for the username password. And nowadays, if you want to change the username password, you can put here. Please, if you are admin, you always can request to log in to check or maybe update your the password, because by default password is not secure. Okay, so make sure you change that. After that, you just save. And here got update. If you got any new firmware come out, you can update, or can update by the update menu here. Or maybe nowadays we can see the firmware is there already. And nowadays reset means if you want to reset, you can reset to factory models. Then all your data will be frozen. Of course, you can if you want to upgrade your room firmware, then you can download from our official website and upload here. You can update one by one. It's very convenient for the phones. If you want to update, you always can be done from here. And of course, there's auto provisions. Auto provisions here is actually a lot of the actually a lot of power meter here. And it's a kind of the tool to manage the safe phones. So you can disable, enable kind of the models. Sometimes your PNP active. If you normally by default is yes, because if you not set to no, if you implement your safe desktops, the server side cannot be find the phones here. So you can set the PNP. Because there's a kind of the explanation here already. So you have to set to yes. Upgrade models. If you want to upgrade, you're going to be can support the TFTP, HTTP, FTP, or HTTPS. It depends your choice. Okay. And Htek support two kind of models. You can give you a very flexible way to do it. And of course, there are kind of the port number option. Normally by default is 66, and the PNP port. You maybe can disable or enable kind of the DHCP option servers, power on rapidly, and intervals. So how many minutes you want to set up, you can set here. Yes, this is a maximum or minimum interval settings here. Weekly, if you want to weekly update or not, then you can set here yes or not. Yes, same thing is control weekly update interval timers. Is time normally then if you can update your set the different time zones here. By default, there is no FT. You can set flexibly, and maybe from Sunday you want to set Sunday or maybe Tuesday, and so on. But make sure it's not working. You cannot update or make sure your system is stable. You cannot select maybe Monday, but Monday you have to maybe after working hours, because during the working hours you update the firmware. If any in case failed or any problem, or you make calls, the system will crash or maybe down. So please choose a proper way, proper time here. And flexible auto provisionings here is disable or enable, is up to you. It's flexible way is quite flexible already, and kind of the durations here. And output, yes, you just set output and will automatically output the phone after upgrade. And of course, if you use any kind of the models, you have to set username and password for security purpose. Yeah, kind of there is a kind of the upgrade priority. And normally, if you can use by PNP. Of course, sometimes you use by options, and by configure patterns is up to you. So authentication configure file, if you want to insert the configure file, and disable or enable. Here got a lot of the parameter here. I think if you are not very familiar, you want to get more detail, you can always check the user menu here. They got a lot of detail here. Of course, there are other things. If you want to enable the SNMP service, you can always enable that. DMS service, yes, if you can DMS service, it's up to you. You can enable that. This is for upgrade. Is a lot of parameter here. If you choose that, please make sure you understand what you are doing now. So check the user menu first. And the configure files. Actually, kind of the configure files. One is for the, I think, device configure files. You can download XML file and maybe restore XML file. There is a standard format already. So if you want to maybe download the file and change something, you can download the file. Then after that change, then you can upload. Bin file, you can download a bin file. You maybe restore bin file, download the user bin files, user configure files, and the system log. Because the system is, the resource is very limited, so sometimes you need to download the system log, or maybe delete or remove the system logs, because you have to get the more storage for the systems. Make sure your system is stable. You have to download the files, maybe download certain files. When you debug the systems, you can set. For example, here you download the file, or maybe system log server you want to upload to anywhere. Yeah, you can choose for debug, inform, warning, or error, or none. So you can download the files here. Of course, download the file is password or not, and you can disable. If you enable that, you have to set the password here. And trusted CA is here involve a kind of the certification for security purpose. You generate, you can generate some TLS certificate file here locally. After that, you import to the phone here. So they also support some kind of the models, only access trusted certificate, common name validations, yes or no, trusted certificate, by default customized or along. It's up to you. So if you use your certificate yourself, you can set here. And here I got a server CA. Let me, I think today, yes. You can import the kind of the certificate from server side generated by servers, you always can import that. You maybe can customize, for example, issue by any kind of the vendors, issue to maybe your company, your name, your domain, or any certificate tags here, expiration, or you want to delete your update or maintain the certificate, because the certification got the expiration, so you have to check. Sometimes the system not work or phone not work properly, so you maybe relate to certificate, you have to check that. And Htek UCV50 also provide a kind of tool, very rich debug tool here. You can use maybe PCAP. You can enable that when you want to debug the system. When you make a call, then start the debug actions, then capture that. After that, you can import the debug files. LCD screen, you can see LCD screen or not. You can enable that. And port mirrors, you can disable or enable that. RPC pad, you also can enable that. And diagnostic models here, you can disable that and enable that, because here must be careful. If you enable the models, I think that the system will be very, you will take the much resource for, since this actually is debug models here. So take the more, it will generate more logs. So please make sure when you debug that, just enable. If not debug status, then you should stop that. And if you want to record the calls, you can start the model, start the model, and you make the record to your systems. Of course, you can export to local PC or local machines. You can start in the USB. And RTP mirrors, sometimes you can enable and disable that. It depends the remote side. You have to enable the server and port. If you want to enable that, you have to check the IP and the port, make sure everything is correct. And alt PCK features normally is disabled because you will consume a lot of resource. So if you want to debug that, you can enable that. Otherwise, you disable that. Of course, you can choose. For example, you can choose store to inner storage or USB SD cards. It's up to you. Normally, because this file is very large, if you run it maybe few hours or one day, I will take the much of the storage here. So make sure disable that if you don't debug the systems. Of course, you can export the PCAP file here. And here is the reboot. Just simply reboot the system. You can from GUI, just if in case you configure or change any settings, change any files, any parameters, you can just simply reboot the systems. So it's nothing new, and it's very normal, very often used if you configure or edit some parameters. Of course, the kind of the Htek offer kind of the models UCW, UCV, and the Lite series UC900 series IP phones. You can always go to website to check that. If you got maybe any query, you can maybe go to website to send email to sales or maybe make a calls. Of course, you have any technical issue or any support you want, then always can send email to support@htek.com Of course, you can follow the Htek by linking Facebook, Twitter, and so on. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.